Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. We are continuing our reading of Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. All the translations and purports are by His Divine Grace Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, the revered spiritual master of our beloved founder Acharya, His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. Śrī Caitanya Bhagavat's Ādi Khaṇḍa's chapter 14 is entitled Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu's travel to East Bengal and the disappearance of Srimati Lakshmi Priya Devi. Text 1. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Shri Gaura Sundara Jaya Nityananda Priya Nitya Kalevara. All glories to the Supreme Lord Shri Gaura Sundar. All glories to Shri Nityananda's beloved Lord who has an eternal form. Nitya Kalevara. Our body is temporary, but the divine body of Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Nityananda Prabhu, it is Chinmaya, it is spiritual, and therefore it is Sat Chid Ananda Vigraha. It is eternal, blissful, and fully cognizant. So all glories to Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, also known as Shri Gaura Sundar, and he is Nityananda Priya. He is the life and soul of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. Verse 2. Jaya Jaya Shri Pradyumna Mishrera Jivana Jaya Shri Paramananda Puri Pranadhana. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the life and soul of Shri Pradyumna Mishra. Pradyumna Mishra is described in detail in Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela. So, all glories to the life and soul of Shri Pradyumna Mishra. Jaya Jaya Shri Pradyumna Mishrera Jivana Jaya Shri Paramananda Puri Pranadhana. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the life and soul, Pranadhan, of Shri Paramananda Puri. Paramananda Puri is an incarnation of Uddhavji from Krishna Leela. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in the purport about both these personalities. And we will move on. Verse number 3. Jaya Jaya Sarva Vaishnavera Dhana Pran Kripa Drishtya Kara Prabhu Sarva Jivetran. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying all glories to the life and soul of all the Vaishnavas. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the life and soul of all the Vaishnavas. Jaya Jaya Sarva Vaishnavera Dhana Pran Kripa Drishtya Kara Prabhu Sarva Jivetran. Please deliver all the fallen souls with your merciful glance. Such a beautiful prayer. When we stand in front of Gaurnita, we can offer this prayer. Jaya Jaya Sarva Vaishnavera Dhana Prana Kripa Drishtya Kara Prabhu Sarva Jivetrana. Ādi Khaṇḍa Katha Bhai Shune Ekamane Viprarupe Krishna Viha Rile Na Ye Mane. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is telling all of us, my dear brothers, please hear with attention the topics of the Ādi Khaṇḍa, wherein the pastimes of Lord Krishna in the form of a Brahman, Nimai, are described. Hena mate Vaikuntha Nayaka Sarvakshana Vidyarase Viharena Lai Shishya Gana. In this way, the Lord of Vaikuntha, Shri Nimai Vishwambhar, continuously enjoyed his scholastic pastimes, Vidyarase, with his students, Shishya Gana. Along with his students, he enjoyed his scholastic pastimes, Vidyarasa pastimes, very special pastimes. where he is the most intelligent scholar who has defeated one and all, including the Digvijay Pandit. Sarva Navadvipe Prati Nagare Nagare Shishyagana Sangye Vidya Rase Krida Kare. Our Nimai Vishwambhar enjoyed his scholastic pastimes as the most intelligent, learned personality. And he had his Shishyagana Sangye. He enjoyed his pastimes along with his students. He had thousands of students. And his students were from all the numerous villages surrounding Nadia. Sarva Navadvipe Prati Nagare Nagare Shishyagana Sangye Vidya Rase Krida Kare. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu was enjoying his scholastic pastimes in every village around Navadvip, where he had so many students. Sarva Navadvipe Sarva Loke Haila Dhvani Nimai Pandita Adhyapaka Shiromani. Hari Bol. So sweet. Sarva Navadvipe Sarva Loke Haila Dhvani Nimai Pandita Adhyapaka Shiromani. Throughout Navadvip, throughout the area of Navadvip, there was loud proclamation. Sarva Loke Haila Dhvani. There was loud proclamation everywhere. What? Nimai Pandita Adhyapaka Shiromani. Adhyapak means teacher and Shiromani means the best, the crest jewel. So everywhere, in every village, people were saying that the greatest teacher is Nimai. He is the greatest teacher. Verse number 8. Bada bada vishai sakala dola haite namiya karena namaskara bahumate. Even the wealthy materialists would get down from their palanquins to offer respects to Shri Nimai. Our Nimai Pandit was so respected, so adored by everyone that even the materialistic, atheistic people who were very rich, very famous, very learned, they would get down from their palanquin and they would offer obeisances. In those days, only the rich people had the luxury to travel around, being carried by servants in a palanquin. It's the equivalent of having a luxury, super luxury car in the contemporary world. Verse number 9. Prabhu dekhi matra janme sabara sadhvasa navadvipe hena nahi yena haya vasha. Everyone was filled with awe and reverence upon seeing Lord Nimai Vishwambhar. There was no one in Navadvip who was not under his control. Navadvipe hena nahi yena haya vasha. Everyone was under the control of Nimai. How was that control? It was not through force. It was not because of fear. It was because of awe and reverence. Awe and reverence. They all respected him because he was such a great teacher and so vastly learned. Navadvipe jaro joto dharma karma kare bhojya vastra avashya pathaya prabhu ghare. Whenever any grihastha, any resident of Navadvip performed any pious activity in their house, he would first, without fail, send some foodstuffs and cloth to Nimai's house. This was the culture there, that anyone who did any puja or anything in their house, they would always offer their respect by sending some honor, some gift to Nimai Pandit, who was considered to be the crest jewel of all learned scholars in Navadvip. And in those days, knowledge and learning were respected. In today's day and age, unfortunately, if you can act in front of the camera, you are respected. You become a celebrity. You get a red carpet welcome. Or if you can throw the ball through a hoop, or you can catch the ball, or run fast with the ball, or hit the ball very hard with a bat, you become a celebrity. You get millions of dollars. You're a celebrity. In those days, that was not the case. Respect was given based on learning, knowledge, intelligence. Prabhu se paramavyari Ishwara vyabhar dukhi tere nava Dukhi tere niravadhi dena puraskar. Shri Nimai displayed the pastimes of being a very charitable person, very munificent person. For this is the nature of the Supreme Lord. Ishvara Vyavhar. It is the nature of the Lord to be charitable. He constantly gave gifts to the poor. So Nimai received gifts from all the people in Navadvip. Whenever they would do puja, they would send clothes, foodstuffs, out of respect for Nimai. And what would Nimai do? Nimai did not hoard them. Nimai did not start collecting them. He was not a hoarder, but he was very charitable. He was very charitable. He was very concerned about the sufferings of others. So he would distribute his wealth to the poor and the needy. He's teaching us. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was a brahmachari, he was an ideal brahmachari, very studious. When he was a child, he was an ideal child, very loving and very naughty. When Nimai was a grihastha, he was a perfect grihastha. And when he was sannyasi, he was a perfect sannyasi. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is not only the Supreme Lord, but he is our Sampradaya Acharya. Ours is the Gaudiya Sampradaya. We are followers of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu matam itam tatradara napara. We hold in the highest regard, highest respect for the opinion of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Even more than the opinion of Krishna. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita should not be given to those who are not austere, those who are not religious, those who are not disciplined. It should only be given to someone who is non-envious. And in Kali Yuga, practically no one is austere, no one is disciplined, and everyone is envious of God. That's why we are in this material world. So Krishna says, don't give this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to them. They don't deserve it. But Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu said, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Amar agya guru haya tara idesh. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu comes and says, now forget it. In Kali Yuga, everybody is very fallen. So just give this knowledge to everyone. Srila Prabhupada says, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. This Krishna upadesh is the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada says. So who do we listen to? Do we listen to Lord Krishna? Or do we listen to Lord Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Who is Krishna in the mood, in the merciful mood of Srimati Radharani. We listen to Krishna when he is love intoxicated, in the mood of Srimati Radharani. That is Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He is our Acharya. So we listen to him. So the Lord displayed his mercy by giving charity. Dukhire dekhile Prabhu bada daya kori, annavastra kadi pati dena gaura hari. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur is describing the nature of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu as a young grahastha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is hardly 17 years old now. As a 16, 17-year-old grahastha, young grahastha, householder, and a teacher by profession, teacher of Sanskrit grammar, Shri Nimai or Gaurahari, whenever he met a poor person, someone who was indigent, someone who was downtrodden, he would immediately give him food grains like rice. He would give him cloth, and he would even give money. Why? Prabhu bada daya kari. Out of daya, out of compassion. Out of compassion. So this should be done. Srila Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur themselves demonstrated this. When beggars come, ideally a grahastha should not let a beggar walk away without receiving some charity. The best charity we can give is to give them some Krishna Prasad. And just say, Hare Krishna, so that they eat Krishna Prasad, they get purified. Yajna Shisthashana Santo Muchante Sarva Kilvishe. And they are hearing Harinam. They are hearing Krishna Nam. So we are benefiting them. But if we don't have anything, and we feel confident that this person really needs, and he's not going to misuse it, then it's okay to sometimes give them money also. We have to be careful, because if someone is on drugs and you give them money, they're going to use it for alcohol and drugs or to do other illegal activities. So generally we should give prasad. I give prasad. I always keep some, even if not prasad, some vegetarian food. in the car, and I give them and I say, God bless you, or Hare Krishna, like that, just to spread some goodwill and to help them. But it is the duty of householders, grihasthas, to be charitable. And Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu himself is demonstrating. To the poor, he would give anna, vastra, kadipati. Anna is rice and food grains, food. Vastra is cloth, and kadipati is money. So it's okay to give money. Once I was traveling with some devotees, and this was in 2007, summer of 2007. And I was traveling with some devotees in Mumbai. And there was a very young beggar, young boy. He must be less than 10 years old. And he said, he was very hungry. He wanted something, and I didn't have anything in the car. So I gave him some money, some 10 rupees or something like that. And there was a devotee who was sitting in the car with me. He started chastising me. Why are you giving him money? For all someone else is telling him to beg, and he's going to take that money from that child and use it for alcohol. I said, that's possible. But at least I chanted Hare Krishna for him, and I tried to help. Krishna will see that I tried to help. And, he's a young boy, 8, 9 years old. And I didn't have the heart to turn him away. Because if we don't help, don't give, this child is going to grow up with the consciousness that it's a bad society. People who have wealth don't help. And then such children, they commit crimes out of anger. But this devotee was not satisfied. He said, no, you did a wrong thing. You have committed a great mistake by giving money. You should never give money. So I feel that we have to be a little broad-minded, and we have to give chance to people. We have to give people a chance. We cannot be so rigid. Time, place, and circumstances. Yes, ideally we give them the holy name and food and some clothes. But if that is not possible, it's okay to sometimes give some money also. It's not a fault. And there are instances where Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave money. Srila Prabhupada also gave money. That was not the general thing what they would do. But sometimes on occasion, Srila Prabhupada also has given money to a beggar. And here, directly in Chaitanya Bhāgavata, we can see Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu would give it also. In the purport also, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is writing, the principle of magnanimity is found in the nature of Brahmanas, while the principle of miserliness is found in the nature of non-Brahmanas. And Srila Prabhupada said, our Krishna consciousness society is a society of Vaishnavas, and Vaishnavas are higher than Brahmanas. Hare Krishna. So the least we can do is be in the mode of goodness, where we try to help others. In order to exhibit the pastimes of an ideal householder, Nimai, Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, donated rice, cloth, and wealth to the poor and distressed people. These are the words of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So it's okay to give money on occasion. But we should be careful. If someone is obviously on drugs, better to give him some prasad and some clothes if they need. Niravadhi atithi aise prabhu ghare jara jena yogya prabhu dena sabakare. Niravadhi atithi aise prabhu ghare. Every day, guests would come to the house of Nimai. So he was very hospitable also. Hospitality. Jare jena yogya prabhu dena sabakare. And he would always properly satisfy all the guests. So guests are of two types, my dear friends. Please pay attention. You can write this down. There are two types of guests. One is atithi. Atithi, tithi means some time, certain time, fixed time. Atithi means one who comes without giving any prior notice, just suddenly shows up at your doorstep. That's called atithi. The second type of guest is abhyagat. Abhyagat is a guest who gives prior notice, and you are expecting them. They make an appointment that will be coming, will be staying for one night in your house, or will be staying for 2-3 days. So we are expecting them. They are called Abhyagat. And to serve Abhyagat is the culture. But real culture is to serve Atithis who come unexpectedly. That's even higher. So here it is said, Niravadhi Atithi Aise Prabhu Ghare. Guests would show up without prior notice. Jare je na yogya Prabhu, dena sabakare. But still, Nimai would satisfy all of them. So Nimai Pandit is teaching us ideal grahastha behavior here. Verse number 14. Kona dina sannyasi aise dashabish, sabani mantrena Prabhu, haya harisha. Sometimes 10 or 20 sannyasis would come to the house of Nimai. And they are a family of 3. Nimai, his mother Shachimata, and his young wife, Srimati Lakshmi Priya Devi. And 10 or 20 sannyasis would come. And Nimai would happily invite them inside the house for lunch. Please come in. Please sit down. We'll serve you. We'll cook lunch for you. In the purport, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, because the noble householder residents of Navadvip normally followed the principles of Varnashram, many renowned sannyasis from various places came to their houses as guests. On one hand, the Lord removed the poverty of the poor, the distressed, and his guests, and on the other hand, he exhibited ideal pious householder pastimes by serving the renowned sannyasis who belong to the 4th ashram: Brahmacharya ashram, Grihastha ashram, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. To establish that every pious householder is obliged to respect the principles of ashram dharma, the Lord gave food and shelter to the sannyasis and thus set the perfect example of pious householder behavior. This is important. We should give them shelter. We should give shelter to the guests, and we should give them prasad, Krishna prasad. Sometimes some guests, they may have ulterior motives. Like there was one guest, he came to the house of a devotee and started asking for money. He was offered prasad. He said, prasad, it's all right. You can give some prasad, but I really need money. I want to buy some medicines or something like that. So the householder said, I can buy you. Tell me what medicine you need. Give me the prescription. I'll go to the pharmacy and I'll get it for you. I'll pay for it. This was in India. He said, no, you just give me the money. I don't know. I don't have the prescription right now, but I need that money to get some medicines. I need medicines. I have to pay the doctor, etc., etc. So the householder gave money. After a few days, this sannyasi again comes and says, now I want an iPhone. Give me money for an iPhone. This is a true story I'm telling you. He said, I have to keep in touch with people and people call me for spiritual questions. I have to advise them, take care of them, answer their questions. So for preaching, I need an iPhone. Now he's a Babaji in Vrindavan. It's a true story. So this devotee, he's quite wealthy. He was asking his Guru Maharaj, what should I do? First he took money from me. Now he's asking me money for an iPhone. Guru Maharaj said, tell that sannyasi that your Guru Maharaj has ordered you not to give money or things like iPhone to anybody. You put it on me. Put it on your Guru. That my Guru has said no. Then he cannot do anything. If he says, I don't care what your Guru has told you, you give me the iPhone, then you can tell him, leave my house. Because now he is doing Guru Aparadh. So he has two options. Either he accepts the order of your Guru and he leaves you alone. Or if he asks you to go against your Guru, then you can ask him to leave your house. And there is no Aparadh. Because he's a Guru Aparadhi. Like that. So we have to use our intelligence. We should not be so gullible also. We have to use our Vivek Buddhi, our higher intelligence. But Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, to teach all of us the duties, the responsibilities, and the ideal behavior of a householder, every day 10 to 20 sannyasis would come and he would serve. This is a very pleasing activity to Krishna. We should serve. We should feed the advanced devotees. We should serve them. Sekshane kahi patha yena janani re kudi sannyasi ra bhiksha jhata kari bare. As soon as the sannyasis would show up, and why would the sannyasis keep coming? Because the word had spread that Nimai is a very nice, charitable grihastha, householder. He likes to serve Vaishnavas. So then Vaishnavas reciprocate, they come. So this is a very important principle, my dear friends. The more we serve, the more service we get. I repeat, the more we serve, the more service we get. Because when we are chanting Hare Krishna, what is the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Please listen carefully. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is a Vedic mantra. It is found in our Upanishad, Kali Santarna Upanishad. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra is found in the Chaitanya Bhāgavata. It's going to come in this very chapter. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is going to speak the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Chaitanya Bhāgavata twice. And what does it mean? The Hare Krishna Mahamantra is basically 16 names of God. Hare is an invocation, it's a call to Srimati Radharani. And Krishna and Ram are the names of Krishna. So Hare Ram is Radharaman, Hare Krishna is Radha Krishna. 16 names of Radha and Krishna is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But our Acharyas, specifically Srila Prabhupada, has given a very sweet meaning of the prayer that constitutes the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's a prayer. This mantra is a prayer. Mahamantra is a prayer. And what is that prayer? My dear Radharani and my dear Krishna, please engage me in your service. Loving, devotional service. Please engage me eternally in your loving devotional service. So when we chant sincerely, when we serve sincerely, we get more service. And this more service is a blessing of Krishna. It is a sign of spiritual responsibility. Krishna is giving us more and more responsibility. And it is an opportunity to make spiritual advancement. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us. So the sannyasis would come, he would immediately inform his mother and his wife to quickly arrange lunch for 20 sannyasis. Ghare kichu nai ai chinte mone mone kudi sannyasi ro bhiksha hai beke mane chintite hena nahi jani ko na jane sakala sambhara ani deya se ikshane. Now Nimai was not so affluent. He was a simple Brahmin. As there was nothing at home, Mother Shachi thought, how will I prepare a meal for 20 sannyasis? As soon as she thought like this, someone came and delivered the necessary ingredients without her notice. Haribol. What does this mean? That when Krishna gives service to us, he also gives us the required paraphernalia or infrastructure to perform that service. It's there. We just have to be sincere. Due to lack of sufficient ingredients for meals and due to lack of accumulated wealth in Nimai's house, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada is writing, Srimati Shachi Devi felt a need for ingredients to feed the sannyasis. But by the will of Lord Gauranga, all the necessary ingredients immediately appeared there. Krishna arranges. You have to be sincere. Tabe Lakshmi Devi giya parama santoshe randena vishesha tabe Prabhu asi vaise. At that time, Srimati Lakshmi Priya Devi, the wife of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, cooked the offering with full satisfaction. Not that she would grumble and complain. Why are you letting guests in every day? Every day I have to cook for 20 people. It's too much. I'm tired. I need a break. No. She was very chaste and she also had a great service attitude. So she would parama santoshe. With great satisfaction, great happiness and enthusiasm and joy, she would do the service of cooking. And then the Lord would arrive home. Sannyasi ganera prabhu apane vasiya tushtakari pathayena bhiksha karaiya. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu would personally invite the sannyasis in and request them to sit down, and he would watch the sannyasis as they were served the proper meal. And after the sannyasis were fully satisfied with the hospitality and with the meal, he would bid them farewell. In those days, the sannyasis did not light a fire. And for cooking, you need a fire. So sannyasis, because of renunciation, they would not light fire. They would just eat some fruits that are available in the forest, drink the water of a lake or a river, and survive. Occasionally, when they came to a village or a town, they would do some madhukari. They would beg some food from the house of usually pure householders, brahmanas. So it was a duty of the brahmanas to feed them. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes, since sannyasis do not normally use fire, their cooking activities were done by the brahmanas, who are allowed to use fire. The sannyasis who do not use fire can accept foodstuffs cooked at different houses of brahmanas. Generally, there was a temple of Vishnu in every brahmana's house. They had Shaligram Shila or some deity of Lord Vishnu in every brahmana's house. And the sannyasis also ate only those foodstuffs that had been cooked and offered to Lord Vishnu. This is a principle. We should not eat anything that is not offered to Krishna. It is very dangerous for our spiritual life to eat in restaurants, to eat outside food that is cooked by non-devotees, food that is not offered properly. That's why devotees remain in Krishna consciousness for many years, but still don't make much advancement. They may have been initiated 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, but still they are not making much advancement because of annadosh. Because of annadosh. Annadosh means to eat food that is not Krishna prasad. So we have to be very careful. With our tongue, Srila Prabhupada says we have to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Not just 16 rounds. 16 rounds in the morning, attentively sitting in one position. That we must do every day in the morning before 7 a.m. But we should chant many more rounds. In fact, throughout the day, we should keep chanting. Throughout the day. And as far as possible, we should keep our bead bag with us. Because at least in my experience, when I don't have my beads, I tend to space out. But if the right hand is in the bead bag, it's holding the tulsi mala, then naturally the tongue starts by practice. Because it is so accustomed, it starts chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Around the kantha, around the neck, we have tulsi. In the hand, we have tulsi. And Tulsi Maharani is Bhakti. Bhakti Devi. So, immediately, naturally, we start chanting. Otherwise, we tend to do other things. So, we should keep chanting. Ei mato yate ka atithi asi hai, sabare jidnyasa kare na kripamay. In this way, the merciful Lord, Shri Nimai, inquired about the needs of every one of his guests. He would not just give them food and drink, but he would inquire them, is there anything I can do? Can I give you some money? Can I give you some cloth? He would ask. Grihastere Mahaprabhu Shikayena Dharma, Atithira Seva Grihastera Mula Karma. This is a verse worth memorizing. Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata, Ādi Khaṇḍa, chapter 14, verse number 21. Grihastere Mahaprabhu Shikayena Dharma, Atithira Seva Grihastera Mula Karma. Grihastere Mahaprabhu Shikayena Dharma. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu as a Grihastha is teaching all other Grihasthas of this world. What is Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu teaching all of us, the householders? He's teaching us Atithira Seva Grihastera Mula Karma. It is the foremost duty of a householder to serve guests. Hare Krishna. Not that we invite guests and watch a Netflix movie with them. Or take them to the mall and waste hours and hours shopping. That is not Atithi Seva. That is not what Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is doing. Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is not asking them, where are you coming from? What is the news from that kingdom? How is the queen doing? How is the king doing? What is the politics going on there? What is the latest gossip? What's the scoop? No. These are not the conversations Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu is having with them. He's very grave. He's inviting them. He's giving them first-class Krishna Prasad. And he's inquiring from them about their welfare and how he can serve them. And obviously, these are all devotees. They are talking about Krishna. They are devotees of Krishna. And they will never eat anything that has not been offered to Krishna. So this is a very high-class Vaishnava society, my dear friends. And this is the culture that we should carry. No frivolous talks. It is the foremost duty of a householder to serve the guests. And how do we serve them? The best service one can do is to bring a person closer to Krishna, isn't it? The best service we can do is to bring someone closer to Krishna. When we serve the guests, this should be our attitude. We should give them Krishna Prasad. We should do Kirtan with them. We should do Krishna Katha with them. This is called Seva. Grihastha haya atithi seva na kare pashu pakshi haite adharma balitare. Grihastha haya atithi seva na kare. If someone is a grihastha, someone is a householder, but does not do atithi seva, does not serve the guests, pashu pakshi haite adharma balitare. He is considered to be lower than the birds and the beasts. Hare Krishna. He is not even considered a human being. If we cannot serve the householders, then we are worse than animals and birds. In the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada writes, those attached householders who give up the service of guests, especially the wandering sannyasis, especially service to guests who are engaged in service to Lord Krishna, and householders who remain busy in household duties like cooking for themselves, they are lower than even birds and beasts. They are lower than birds and beasts. Why? Because inferior animals like birds and beasts fly in the sky or wander the earth in order to gather their food and have little opportunity to collect. Birds and animals, they are also looking for food, but they don't collect. At least they don't collect like this. But a householder who does not serve guests and simply engaged in earning money, collecting, accumulating more and more wealth, more and more things of this world, is worse than the animals and birds. Why? Because granted, the animals and birds don't do atithi seva. They don't serve the guests. The animals don't serve the guests. But at least they don't hold. At least they don't accumulate. But these grihamedhis, they are not serving the guests and they are accumulating for themselves. Therefore, they are lower than the animals and birds. Clearly, Chaitanya Bhāgavata is a very beautiful verse. Grihastere Mahaprabhu Shikayena Dharma Atithira Seva Grihastera Mula Karma. The Mula Karma, the foremost duty of a householder is Atithi Seva. And Grihastha Haya Atithi Seva na kare Pashu Pakshi haite Adhama Balitare. Person is very fallen if he is not doing Atithi Seva. Jaravana thake kichu purva drishta doshe seitrina jala bhumi diveka santoshe. If due to his previous impious activities he does not have anything, then he should satisfy his guests with a straw mat, some water, and a place to lie down. Srila Vrindavan Thakur is telling us that if we are poor householders, we don't have the means to serve guests, still we should offer guests three things at the least. What is that? A simple straw mat to sit on. Just a piece of cloth to sit down. Some asan. Some water to drink. And a place to lie down. If they're tired, they want to take a rest, just give them a corner, just so you can sleep here, no problem. Take a rest. Here is some water to drink. And here is asan to sit on. Just a piece of cloth. This is minimum that a householder should do to serve the guests. Then verse number 24. Trinad bhumir udakam vak chaturthi chava sunrita etani api satam gehe no chidyante kadachana. This verse, Srila Vrindavan Thakur is quoting from the Manu Samhita. What does it mean? Please listen carefully. In the houses of pious people, there may be a scarcity of rice or other staples due to poverty. But a straw mat, water, resting place, and sweet words should always be available for serving guests. Trinadi, Bhumir, Udakam, Vak, Chaturthi, Chava, Sundrita. Etani api satam gehe, nochidyanti kadachana. These four things should be given, Manu Samhita says. A straw mat, a place to take rest, some water, and sweet words. Words of welcome. That Hare Krishna, you have given me opportunity to serve you, my dear guest. Please come. Please come. Just some few sweet words. That is our duty. Sweet words. Bhumi means a resting place. Udaka means water. And Sundrita Vak means sweet words. And Trina means a asan, a place to sit and lie down. Satyavakya kahibe ka kari parihar, tathapi atitya shunya nahaya tahar. Akaitave chitta sukhe jaraje na shakti, taha kari lei bali atithera bhakti. Ataiva atithire apane ishware, jidnasa kare na ati parama adare. If one has nothing more to offer, he should apologize without duplicity. If one has nothing more to offer, nothing more than these four things: sweet words, a place to sit, some water, and a mat, asana. If one has nothing more than these four things, then he should apologize without duplicity. Without duplicity, one should apologize that I am not able to serve you or give you anything more. Then he is not guilty of neglecting the guest. If the householder happily serves his guests without duplicity and according to his ability, he is considered hospitable. Atithya Bhakti. He is considered Atithi Bhakta. Therefore, the Lord personally invited guests with great respect to teach us how much Krishna is pleased. There is a story. Once there was a great devotee, and he invited a guest to his house for prasad, and he served prasad, and the guest sat down to eat, and the host said, "This is Krishna prasad, please honor." So the guest said, "Even if it was not Krishna prasad, I would have still eaten it. Even if it was not Krishna prasad, I would have still eaten it, because I don't believe in God." The guest said, "I don't believe in God." So then the host, who is a devotee, he got really angry that this fellow is an atheist. He said, "Then why should I serve you, you rascal? You are an atheist, you don't believe in God. God is providing everything. Get up and get out. Leave my house immediately." So he kicked out that guest without serving him. "Chalo, out, out. I don't want to serve you. I don't want to see your face. You are an atheist. Go away from me." That night, Krishna appeared in the dream of that devotee. And Krishna looked very disappointed. So in the dream, this devotee asked Krishna, "Krishna, why do you appear so disappointed with me? Dissatisfied with me?" So Krishna said, "I have been feeding these atheists since time immemorial. And you are my devotee, and you could not feed him even one meal. I am feeding them since time immemorial. So many atheists have been there in this world, and I am feeding them without any complaint. And you are my devotee, you are my representative, and you could not even feed one meal." So like that, we have to be careful. We have to use our intelligence, how we deal with atheists also. Such behavior of asking him to get up and out of the house, that person probably will never become a theist in this life, because he has seen the behavior of a devotee. If this is how a uncivilized devotee behaves, so uncultured, then why should I be a devotee? I would rather be like the atheists. At least they're kind and hospitable. So we have to be careful. We are representing Krishna. Sei saba atiti parama bhagyavan, Lakshmi Narayana jare kare annadan. All those guests were most fortunate, for they were receiving foodstuffs directly from Lakshmi Narayana. Because Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Srimati Lakshmi Priya Devi are the supreme divine couple. In the purport, it is written by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, those guests who received rice prasad at the house of Shri Lakshmi Narayan at Yoga Peeth in Shri Navadvip Dham, which means from Lakshmi Priya Devi and Nimai, are millions of times more fortunate than those mundane guests who receive rice from mundane householders. Naturally. So we should give this fortune to the guests who come to our house. We should give them the remnants of our Radha Govinda. We should give them the remnants of our worshipable lords, of our Ishtadev. Let them have the fortune also, having Krishna Prasad. Yaro anne brahmadira asha anukshana hena se adbhutataha khaya yete jana. Those foodstuffs were so wonderful that they were desired even by demigods like Lord Brahma. Yet, now they were eaten by one and all. All the sannyasis were able to eat. Every day, 10, 20 sannyasis were eating. The remnants of Lord Vishnu are desired even by Shivji and Brahmaji, isn't it? There are so many stories in that regard. Little bit. Narad Muni did so much service to Srimati Lakshmi Devi to get little remnants of Lord Narayan. And now, in Kali Yuga, everyone is getting it. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, in every household, there are deities of Gaur Nitai. So everybody can get the remnants of Gaur Nitai now. So we will stop here, dear devotees. And we did 29 verses. From verse number 30, Krishna willing, we'll continue next time. But if there are any questions, we can take a few. It's almost time. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata ki jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Mahashaya ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. So if there are any questions, you can raise your hand. Yes, Gaura Chandra Prabhu, you can ask. And then Vamshidhari Gopal Prabhu can ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam.
Dandavad Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I just need to clarify something. Say it's in regards to like what happened is that my younger son Parth on a Sunday feast he did a Nishinga prayer, and after Nishinga prayer, he did say Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, and after that because and he's used to say Jaya Jaya Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev after that as well. So someone after that from the temple itself, a senior came to me and said that this is now how it should be, that, you finish with Jaya Guru Dev, and Prabhupada was totally against it. So I just wanted to double check with you. Is it something that we are not supposed to? Or?
To say Jai Gurudev is certainly very appropriate and very much in line with our Vaishnava culture to glorify Gurudev. We always glorify Guru and Krishna, Guru and Gauranga. To say Jai Gurudev in a kirtan is not wrong. However, to set certain standards and to prevent deviation, to standardize and to streamline, His Holiness Jai Advaita Swami Maharaj has written some kirtan standards. You can Google His Holiness Jai Advaita Swami Kirtan Standards. Because Srila Jai Advaita Swami Maharaj is a very senior sannyasi in our International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and he's a very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And he understands the mood of Srila Prabhupada very nicely. The general teaching is that we should chant Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadādhara Dāsa Ādi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, and Hare Krishna Mahamantra. At least in the ISKCON temples. The Panchatattva mantra and the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And nothing else. Nothing else. It's not necessary. Because see, if we don't have certain standards, then devotees will have a free hand to sing just about anything. And then there can be a lot of deviations. There have been deviations in the past. There have been devotees singing Bollywood songs, kirtan, because there is a mention of Radha and Krishna in those songs. But those songs are not composed by our Vaishnava acharyas. Those are composed by some lyricist to earn money, by someone who is not in parampara. So to prevent such deviations, it is very, people have sometimes they say Jai Bhakta Prahlad after Narsimharti. That is also not the best. We should say Jai Prahlad Maharaj. Because Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj is not just a Bhakta. In our culture, when a new devotee joins who is not even initiated, we say Bhakta Daniel or Bhakta Amit. You know that? We said Bhakta John said this before they become a Prabhu, before they are initiated. So we should not say Bhakta Prahlad. He is Bhakta Shiromani. He is Bhakta Shiromani. So things like that, these are subtle things. When we say, for example, Jayom Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajaka Ashtottarshata, His Divine Grace, Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Now this is also a little superfluous because there is no need to say His Divine Grace when we are saying Shri Srimad. Either we say His Divine Grace or we say Shri Srimad. There is no need to do both. Because Shri Srimad is the original and His Divine Grace is the English equivalent for that. So things like that. Srila Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj has very kindly standardized it. So there is no need to say Gurudev, Jai Gurudev. There is no need. I'm not saying it is wrong. It is certainly not wrong. It is glorious to say Jai Gurudev. But there are certain Kirtan standards which we should all go through and be aware of them. After Narsimhati, it is enough to say Jai Narsimhadev, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, and if we want, we can say Jai Srila Prabhupada. And then we should end. There is no need to say anything more. It's not wrong that Partha said Jai Gurudev. It is correct. It is good. He said that. But there are certain Kirtan standards, and saying Jai Gurudev is not required. It's not required. Ultimately, Srila Prabhupada is our Gurudev, isn't it? He is our Param Guru. So to say Jai Gurudev can refer to Srila Prabhupada, or it can refer to our Diksha Guru or our Shiksha Guru, or just the Guru Tattva. So it's correct. It is perfect. Nothing is wrong. But we have certain Kirtan standards, and according to those Kirtan standards, it is not required to say Jai Gurudev. Not required. One can just say Jai Narsimhadev, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Srila Prabhupada. And that's it. Okay?
Okay.
At home, we have more freedom. At home, we can say Jai Gurudev. Like that. Okay?
Sure,
but just to keep things standard, how in the companies, in the corporate world also, there is some standardization. So that certain quality is maintained. So ours is an international society, and there are devotees from different backgrounds, devotees with different moods, and devotees with different levels of spiritual advancement. So certain standard rules have been made. So we should take it in the right spirit. And everything is there in the Mahamantra. Everything is there in the Panchatattva mantra. When we say Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Ādi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, every devotee in the world is included in this mantra. Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Everybody is a Gaur Bhakta ultimately. Correct? There is no one who is not Gaur Bhakta, because Gauranga Mahaprabhu is Krishna, and Jivara Swarupa Krishna and Nityadas. So everyone is included. We are offering our obeisances to everyone. We are glorifying everyone, specifically all the devotees. So there is no need to separately say anything. To keep it standard, just Panchatattva mantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra in Kirtans. Okay? Is that okay, Gaur Chandra Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Vamshidhari Gopal Prabhu. 1 second, let me give you the ability to unmute yourself. I don't know where I kept my laptop, so I'm doing from my phone today. Yes, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji, I had two questions. So one question came out of this discussion which both Prabhu asked. So I've asked that first. So Prabhuji, one lecture, I don't know where, but long back I heard that when we say Jai Gurudev, it is not authorized because because we are not saying the name of any guru, and just saying guru is not right. Because we are a like personal movement, so we should always address person, not just generic. So I'm not sure where did I heard it, but in some of the lecture I heard it that during Srila Prabhupada time, it was not there, like singing Jai Gurudev after the aarti. So I'm not sure because I've not heard any recordings like that. So I'm not sure, but this is just one version I heard about it.
What was that, Prabhuji? What did you say? Sorry, I was looking at a message. Somebody shared a link.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so what I heard, Prabhuji, that during Srila Prabhupada, like I think from one of the Srila Prabhupada disciples, some lecture was there long back I heard. So he said that during Srila Prabhupada time, there was no singing of Jai Gurudev after the artis and the kirtan. And the reason was that we address by person, because we address the person. We don't just address a generic way to anybody, because we have a guru, we have a name of the guru. So we should address and we should do glorification by the name, because we are a personal movement. We are not an impersonal movement. So we should not address just Jai Gurudev like that. So that is one version I heard, but I don't know whether, like, because I not heard any recordings of those times, like Kirtan or any time.
No, see, that time they were not chanting Jai Gurudev because Srila Prabhupada was their Gurudev.
Only Gurudev.
And they were chanting Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Right. So there is no need to say Gurudev because Prabhupada was the only Guru.
Yeah, right.
As far as saying Jai Gurudev, it is not wrong because we are doing it anyway, every day, 8 times during Mangal Arti. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam, Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam, Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. There's nothing wrong. But it's okay. In the temple, we have to standardize things. And it is not required to say Jai Gurudev. It's not necessary.
And
okay.
Another question I had, that Prabhuji, in Gurudev's name, we address them as Ashtoshtar Shata. So we hear like there is in Indian culture, many times we say 108 or 1008 in the name of Guru. So what is the significance of it?
And Ashtottara Shata is 108. There are 108 sannyas names, like Swami, Goswami, Tirtha, Muni, Puri, Parvat, Ashram, like that. There are 108 sannyas schools, sannyas names. Srila Prabhupada explains this in one of the purports of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that refers to that. That Guru Dev is in one of those 108 lines of sannyas.
Okay, so the last question, Prabhu, I have about today's class. So when we say Athithi, you said that one who comes without so like in today's time, it's very difficult to get somebody like that, especially in US, because in India, I know that we used to get some random people asking something at the door. But here it's like very like almost kind of unheard of. And even in devotees, whenever we go, we want to make sure that it's informed visit. So how do we get some Athithi service in that case, or we follow the same standard for anyway? Like we will follow the same standard for one Athithis, like people who come in, after informing also, but. And there is one more danger I see, because that is what I have personally seen in India, especially like when we used to serve people who used to come on door just like that. Then one time actually some bogus sadhus came to our house, and we called them in and we fed them and all, and somehow like they like only my mother and I was there, and my father was at work. So somehow they did something to us that we were ready to give anything to them. They kind of hypnotized or did something to us, so that they were asking money or this and that, and we were kind of ready to give them anything and everything. But somehow, like my mother got it, and then she just asked them to leave, saying that this is not right. So that is also a danger. Like if we just honor some Athithi like that.
Yes, we have to be careful. Some criminal shows up at the doorstep. We are not going to open the door for the criminal. That's why we have to use our intelligence and we have to be careful. Even devotees who come with short notice, like sometimes we have gotten a phone call that such and such devotee is passing through town, and flight is landing tonight. Can they stay overnight in your house? So that is atithi, because it was unplanned suddenly. Although because of communication and phone and cellular phones now, or WhatsApp, it's easy to put a message, but it's practically atithi because you are not expecting them. Suddenly they come at short notice. So that is also atithi. And if not, then we serve the abhyagat. That is also good. Okay. But yeah, we should be careful who we invite in the house.
Yeah, especially in
Therefore,
today's
Srila
time, because
Prabhupada,
of that incident, like I become so after that incident that I was very afraid of calling any unknown people inside.
no,
Like,
we should not be
observe them
afraid.
from outside. Yeah, I used to observe them from outside, but I did not call them inside after that incident.
Yeah. But actually, if we are absorbed in chanting the holy name, all this
Yeah.
hypnotism and all will not work.
Yeah. No, this I'm telling like maybe 30 years ago. Like when
Yeah. But now it will not work.
something. Yeah, right. Now
Because
quite
now you are
technology,
chanting.
some more intelligence.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was saying something else. I forgot. But anyway, yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay, there is one last question. Zoom user. You can unmute and introduce yourself. I don't know who you are. Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Aslam Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna Vatsalam.
Prabhu, and I have some hearing issues sometimes. I couldn't
Mataji,
hear.
one second. So Mamta Mataji is reminding me, yes, I was saying about Prabhupada. Yeah, this is important. That's why I was telling Mamshidhari Gopal Prabhu that therefore in Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, we see Prabhupada was very skeptical about inviting anybody home, because growing up, he had seen his father invite so many sannyasis, because his father, Gaur Mohan De, being a pure devotee, was also Atithi Sevak. He had a liking for serving guests, and he would invite many sannyasis. But Srila Prabhupada saw with his own eyes that many of the sannyasis, most of the sannyasis were not devotees. And Srila Prabhupada tells actually in one of his lectures that he saw some people would come outside his house and change into saffron robes right outside Prabhupada's house. And they would come inside. They would meet the father and say, "Can we come for prasad?" And father would say, "Please come." And Prabhupada said, "From the window I had seen this fellow was in shirt pant." And he put the shirt pant in his cloth bag, took out saffron clothes, wore right outside the house, and came so he can get a free meal and some donation. So Prabhupada said that I had seen all these bogus. I had seen bogus gurus smoking bidi outside my house in saffron clothes, sannyasis, so-called sannyasis, and then coming for a free meal and donation. So Srila Prabhupada had no faith. When Srila Prabhupada's friend, Shri Narendra Malik, told him that in Ulta Danga Road junction, there is a great sannyasi who has come, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Please come and take his darshan. Prabhupada said no. Abhay Charan said no. I have seen so many of these bogus sannyasis. I don't want to meet another bogus sannyasi. He practically dragged Prabhupada. No. This one is special. He's a real sadhu. Please come. So Prabhupada is teaching us that one should not put one's faith in bogus gurus. Okay. Hare Krishna. Yes, Vatsala Mataji, you can go ahead. You have a question?
Prabhu, because I was having some issues with hearing, and what Prabhuji spoke before you, I didn't get the full content of it. Could you go over that and tell me what you were explaining, please?
Which question are you referring to?
I think he was talking about some Aditi or somebody who...
Yeah, so Vamshidhari Gopal Prabhu was saying that in America, because people like to give advance notice, it is difficult to have real atithis who just show up at the doorstep. So how do we find atithis to serve, was his question. Okay? Yeah. Okay.
And if we are sick, are we allowed to? I mean, I felt bad. Somebody wanted to come for South Indian food, but I got sick. After New York Ratha Yatra, I couldn't invite them. I felt very bad about that. If you are sick, and are you allowed to cook for them? I was just wondering about that because, you are supposed to serve the people, any Vaishnavas. So,
Yes, so it depends what is the sickness. If it is some respiratory infection, which is contagious, then service would mean that we keep them safe. We tell them, don't come to my house because I may pass on the infection to you, especially now with COVID and monkeypox, all those things. So it's better to not invite them home when we are sick because we don't want to transmit our infection to them. That is service. But we should try to make arrangement for some other devotees to serve them instead so that they are served also. At the same time, they are safe. Like
yeah,
that.
I learned also one more thing from you, Prabhu, because sometimes, if you are too deeply involved in Krishna conscious, we have, I don't know, in the olden times, I used to look down upon people who are not God conscious and blabbering something, and you are against, they are always argumentative. And sometimes I wonder, even though they want to come to your house, but you always wonder whether you should invite them or not. But since Krishna is providing all the meals for them for thousands of years, maybe it doesn't matter, you be polite and invite them if they want to come and partake in your food, prasadam, right?
Yeah, as far as possible, we should serve devotees. And
Okay.
yeah, and as far as possible, we should avoid association with those who are not sajatiya, those who are not like-minded devotees, as far as possible, to protect our bhakti. But if someone comes, then we can give them sweet words, some water, place to sit, maybe some prasad. But we should not heart-to-heart associate with them. We should not tell them, can you speak some Krishna katha to me? We should Vaishnava Mukadgiranam Putam Harikathamritam Shravanam Naiva Kartavyam Sarpochishtam Yathapaya. We should not hear Harikatha from those who are not devoted to Krishna. So we can serve, but we should not associate with them. We can respect them, but not associate with them. Association means to hear from them and to imbibe their mood. That is called association. That we should not do. That we should be careful who we associate with.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We will end here. It's late. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Śrī Caitanya Bhāgavata ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow morning at 3:30. Hari Hari. Jai Ho. Thank you.